My name is Elizabeth Patricia Fitzpatrick. I was born in Rochester, New York on March 21st, 1930. I turned 80 3 weeks ago. Thank you. I am a dancer. I was asked to speak about my recollections of World War II, which took place between 1941 to 1945, when I was 11 to 15 years old. Memories are funny things. The further away they are in your mind, the less painful they seem. However, their impact lasts a lifetime. But before I talk about the war years, I want to tell you how I became a dancer. On June 10, 1929, my mom, who was 16, married my dad, who was 26, 4 months before the greatest depression our country has ever seen. I was born 9 months later, and my mother's mother had 2 young sons she was still raising. They were my uncles, even though they were only 3 and 4 years older than I. While we were growing up, we were exposed to the greatest dance music of all time between 1933 and 1940. This period is known as the Swing Era, and the music lifted us out of the Depression. Benny Goodman was known as the King of Swing, but I loved Glenn Miller. I could sing all the songs he played, which I listened to on the radio. While I was still in grade school, my uncles who had gone on to high school would come to our house every day after school and teach me their swing steps. They practiced on me in order to be better than the other guys so they could get the prettier girls to dance with them. At the time, it was embarrassing to me because everybody thought they were boyfriends and did not believe they were my uncles. Then, December 7, 1941, Pearl Harbor Day, interrupted our swinging way of life. Glenn Miller joined the Air Force, and his plane was lost at sea, never to be found. I was so stricken by his loss that years later, I named my second son, Glenn, after him, and today he is a trombonist, as with Glenn Miller, and he plays with a 17-piece big band, the Tomcats and the Tampa Bay Symphony. He also played with other musicians for my 80th birthday party. By the time I got to high school, my uncles had graduated and joined the service, but I was going to weekly teen canteen dances, which all the high schools had during the war years. When I was in the 9th grade, I was dating a senior, so I went to his senior ball. While we were dancing, the principal tapped us on the shoulder to be king and queen of the ball. However, other faculty teachers who knew I was only a 9th grader told the principal, and he had to select someone else because a freshman couldn't be queen of senior ball. Because of the scarcity of food, everybody had victory gardens, as did we, and we raised chickens or goats for eggs and milk. My boyfriend's parents had a grocery store, so whenever we had a date, he would bring butter and sugar to my mom. My dad didn't like me going out with someone 3 years older than I, even though he was 10 years older than my mom, but my mother loved him. With food rationing, there were never enough food coupons to buy what you needed, especially butter and sugar. We were also subject to blackouts, and men patrolled the neighborhoods to make sure no lights were on after dark so enemy bombers couldn't target us. There were air raid drills in school, and we had to duck under our desks when the siren sounded. Some people built bomb shelters, others just hid in their cellars. Silk stockings were not available, so women painted their legs, and cigarettes were so scarce, men, like my father, rolled their own. The war ended in 1945. My boyfriend had joined the Navy after he graduated 3 years ahead of me. I graduated in 1948, worked for a year, and then joined the Women Army Corps. I trained in Camp Lee, Virginia, and was assigned to the Transportation Corps and sent to the Brooklyn Army Base in Fort Hamilton, New York, from where I sailed on the USS General Alexander Patch to Bremerhaven, Germany, taking troop replacements there and bringing German war brides and their infants back to the U.S. In the meantime, my grade school boyfriend had joined the Coast Guard and was stationed nearby on a Coast Guard cutter on Staten Island. We married in 1951 and had 4 children. Today, I have a grandson from that marriage whose birthday is today. Isaac is 22 and in the Marines. He has already served in Iraq and will be going to Afghanistan in July. In closing, I want to tell you what happened to the boy I dated in high school during the war years. I did finally marry him 20 years later after the prior marriage to the grade school boyfriend ended. He never wanted to dance. So there are 2 ways to journey through life. You can march or you can dance. I have done both. Choose to dance.